Hey guys, CSGN here with a Green Bay Packers franchise update. And the update for this is pretty simple actually. Um let's load franchises. But the most recent update is that we got new abilities for offensive linemen and things like that. And with that, actually, these offensive abilities are not going to be added in to existing CFMs, and I really want those abilities in existing CFMs. And they said it would be something they'd look into of whether or not they could actually add that stuff into the game. I'm going to go out just on a limb and say probably not. My guess is the way this game is coded, that's not something that you can just sort of simply go in and add. I take a truthful guess. It has something to do with the framework of the game. Probably these superstar abilities are directly tied to roster updates. Like these aren't like the superstar abilities aren't like a player's face where you can actually get the updated face for a player. Like let's actually go in here and look. Rashawn Gary is a guy whose likeness wasn't in the game immediately. All right, let me see. There he is. See, still hidden dev because I haven't played a game. But you see there's Rashawn Gary. That looks just like him. Yeah. So I think, but like, let's go to David Bakhtiari. Let's go to David Bakhtiari. Superstar, his ability, secure protector, and that's the only, if I'm correct, that's the only ability offensive linemen have. They've added a few new ones, and there's nothing like, so no matter what, these linemen are going to get secure protector. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be something completely different ever. Like even in draft classes, it's just going to be secure protector. So with that, I think we're going to retire this CFM for now. I think we're going to have to switch to a new team actually. And if they come out like in 2 months and are like, hey, we figured out a way to sort of patch in the ability to add these abilities to your player, or for David Bakhtiari and other offensive linemen to have these abilities, maybe that's something that we can revisit. I'm certainly not going to delete that file at all. I'm definitely going to hold on to it because you never know, maybe they'll be able to do that, and then we can go forward with that one later in the year. Because I think that'd be a shame, sort of just to leave that, because we're having a really good season at 11-1, and I did feel it was a little bit too easy, but I have to feel part of that is because like my quarterback's Aaron Rodgers, and he's like a 92 overall. So, like I said, with him being that, it's somewhat easier for me to play the game because it's a great quarterback. But the thing that somewhat excited me was seeing the actual regression that he had in other people's. I think I watched Bengals use code SeatGeek. Use Bangle on SeatGeek to get $20 off. I don't know if you actually get. He might be lying to us, guys. I've never used SeatGeek, but either way, let's see. Let's go here, and like I said before, he just had secure protector, but here he has edge protector, strong pass protection versus elite edge rushers all day, better protection against frequent shed attempts. And that's just sort of like, oh, I can't, like, it kind of sucks that I can't use that at all with him. So that's something that somewhat disappointed me. Like Rodney Hutt, like he still has secure protector. Then Andrew Whitworth, secure protector and post up. So, you know, that sort of really disappointed me that you couldn't get that stuff in normal and just your current CFMs, but I'm not too surprised by it because, like I said, the way these sorts of things are done, my guess is it's easier for them to update player likeness in existing CFMs as opposed to something like that. I don't know exactly how they do it. I'm gonna take a guess. It's not like how 2K does it, where you have that, where like you have the player likeness stuff and then you have badges, and that's like its own pool that it pulls from. Like you just apply a badge to a player. But my guess is the way it's done in Madden is a little bit different, and I hope going forward in Madden 21 that they can figure out a way to maybe do that differently, and maybe make these superstar abilities more like the badges instead of having them be, I guess, so player specific. Like I said, the superstar abilities I think are a start for something really cool, but I think they just have to keep working on it. And I definitely think, like I said before, making them more like badges in 2K, where something that can just be simply applied to a player and it pulls from its own pool. So if you go and mess with the badges, superstar abilities, you basically don't have a bunch of CFMs that are sort of worthless now. So I just hope you see that going forward. Maybe breaking up some of these abilities as well would be something they could do going forward as well. I think that'd be pretty cool. So we're done with that part. I'm done rambling on for for a bit. So the option we have now is to basically restart a CFM and basically pick a completely different team. And I'm going to want a different team. Sorry, I almost threw up because I went by the Ravens, and thinking of Lamar Jackson as my quarterback just disgusts me. We're in a really interesting position because I feel like there's a lot of like already good teams in this game. I feel, there's like teams that either their offense is awful, but their defense is somewhat decent, with I think the Bills and Broncos. Then you have teams where maybe the offense is going to be good, but you aren't 100% sure about that defense. So it's somewhat interesting to try to find a team that I really want to do. Everyone's doing the Dolphins. Everyone's doing the Panthers. And everyone's doing the Lions. Or not the Lions. Everyone's doing the Dolphins, the Panthers, and the Buccaneers. Those are like the three teams guys are really, really doing. And it makes sense. Those are teams that are somewhat mediocre, so you sort of have to do them. So there's the Bengals. Those are like the four teams everyone's doing, and I don't want to do a team that everyone's already doing because that just wouldn't be as fun. But I do want to somewhat try something a little different. And as I'm just scrolling through these teams, I'm not sure who to actually use, but I actually somewhat settled on this squad, and that was the Washington Redskins for the other team that I think we're going to do going forward. As we're not going to do, I'm not sure if Mr. Hurricane is doing this, but if I'm correct, Mr. Hurricane is not actually playing as the coach, I think due to the scenarios just giving you way too much of a boost. And I think we're gonna follow that as well. And as I'm doing this all live, I'm not used to doing live commentaries like this, so like it's really weird for me to like type something out on a controller and then try to talk to you guys at the same time, because I'm like I don't know how you guys do that. You guys are psychopaths. So I think we're gonna roll with an owner this time around, and then league settings. Make sure our league settings are right. All pro, simulation, all, instant starter, trade type, enable all, CPU only, salary cap, super abilities. We're gonna leave those on. I know he turned them off because he felt something a little OP, and I definitely do agree. If you guys remember, I played the Chargers. Derwin James was insane, and Derwin James I don't think he forces fumbles. I don't know if he's ever even forced a fumble. I think he hasn't forced one since college, so I'm not sure how he ended up with a superstar ability that allowed him to force fumbles. Like I said, you got to split some of these abilities up for guys that are safeties, who are more ball hawks, opposed to people who are your big hitters, like Eric Reed, I suppose. You gotta fix that. Relocation settings. We're gonna disable this. We're just not gonna have any relocation. So injury, pre-existing injury on, practice squad stealing, yes. Want all this, 10-minute quarters. I feel like the play clock stuff is actually fine. I'm actually almost feel like games are actually a little too short, so I'm actually going to bump this up by an extra minute. We're going to go to 11-minute quarters, because I'm getting in games like under an hour, and for me that feels like a little too short. Maybe you're someone that's like cool with that. I don't know. I'm going to blur that out, so you don't see the. You can look at the league password, but I should have that like blurred out with something. I don't know what. It'll just be a big SeatGeek logo. I'm just gonna put a big SeatGeek logo there, so you can't see it. So there, you can't come into my franchise and mess with it. So it's really weird that they still have that sort of stuff, like the passwords and stuff. Like, hopefully in Madden 21 on the PS5 and stuff, like it's actually a rebuilt franchise mode, and you have like you keep this coding for the online franchise stuff. But I'm tired of every excuse on why they can't do something in online for franchises, because, well, the online CFM stuff is like, come on. Like, I'm not playing with other people. I'm playing by myself. I'm playing with my own dingus here. So there we go. We're going to set this up, and week 1, take a look at this squad, this Redskins team. And Case Keenum, we got Dwayne Haskins. Where's Alex Smith? Did Alex Smith die? Did they just like remove Alex Smith from the player pool? This team doesn't even roll with a fullback. That's a bold move. There's Adrian Peterson, Darius Guys, Thompson. Wow, this is some really good guys here. You have Bryce Love from out of Stanford. So there's that. This is a whole new team that we're all going to have to get acclimated with, folks. We got Josh Doxson out of TCU. We got this guy. We got Paul Richardson. So an average receiving core, I suppose. And then we have Case Keenum. I know people are going to say, hey, start Case Keenum right away. I might. Take a look here at this squad. I just want to take a look here. We have an offensive lineman, Morgan Moses, right tackle, 28-75. That's probably as good as he's going to get. So not exactly best depth. And then we have Brendan Sheriff. So I'm sure people can get really mad with me about how I pronounce these names. I was really good at it in the Packers series because I know everyone. So, oh boy, left guard. This is going to be rough here on this left side of the line. Trent Williams. Probably move Penn to that left guard spot. That doesn't look like Donald Penn at all. Either way, I'm not going to get into all that stuff before we even start this up. This is a defense, though. You do have Montez Sweat, which is pretty odd. I was somewhat in on the Montez Sweat train. Like, I kind of wanted the Packers to draft him, but they didn't. And then you have your corner situation here. Josh Norman, probably rated way too high at an 84. He's fallen off the face of the earth. And my guess is it probably doesn't get much better. He's 31. So we're going to be stuck with Josh Norman for a bit. And then Quentin Dunbar. He's a pretty good player as well. But already 27. So a secondary that's, I would say maybe a defense as a whole that is aging. And that linebacker spot is not very good either. So just not the best situation here. You do have Jonathan Allen, though, who's a star. Right end. Pretty good player, so we're somewhat good here. Definitely, this front is looking pretty nasty, actually. Yeah, so we look good there. It's just I would say maybe this back half of the defense is just, not particularly good at that linebacker spot. You do have Landon Collins, not as good on the free safety side of things. And the corner situation, I think you have some age there that we are going to definitely have to address. Tressway. Why do I call him Treyway? Who's I thinking of? I don't know. He's a kicker. Who cares if I mispronounce his name? But yeah, there we go. We still have Ryan Kerrigan. Even though he's up there in age, he's definitely gonna regress pretty quickly. Already at 31. Regression feels like it does hit pretty hard in this game from what I've seen. So that's not ideal. Either way, yeah, this is probably what we're going to do for now on. Like I said, don't hold your breath on the Packers series coming back. But like I said, if they do come out and say, hey, we've patched the game and your players can receive those superstar abilities, I guess we'll just have 2 franchise series going at once. We'll have the Packers and then we'll have the Redskins. We'll probably alternate weeks, but like I said, don't hold your breath on that. That's probably not going to happen. And yeah, I'm just going to end it here. I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm really sorry about that, about this series, someone ending prematurely, but what are you going to do?